Welcome to episode 40 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Laws Guy. It's December 10, 2022 in Doha. It's quarterfinal day at the World Cup. On one side, Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo and a squad full of Champions League regulars. On the other, Morocco, the Atlas Lions, roaring through this tournament on defensive steel counterattacks and a wall of sound from the stands. 42nd minute. Yaya Attiyat Allah swings in a hopeful cross. Youssef El Nesiri climbs into the desert night, hangs there and thumps a header past Diego Costa. 1-0 Morocco. Just over an hour later, after Ronaldo's entrance, after desperate crosses, after bonus catches and punches, and one last clearance, the whistle goes. Morocco 1, Portugal 0. At that moment, Morocco became the first African nation ever to reach a World Cup semi-final, the first Arab and first majority Muslim nation to do so, and the team that finally cracks the glass ceiling Africa had been banging on since Cameroon 1990, Senegal 2002, and Ghana 2010. Today we'll put that night in Doha in context, where Morocco sat in African football before 2022, how the World Cup run unfolded match by match, what it meant from Casablanca to Cairo to the Paris banlieues, and how since then Morocco have quietly built something like a continental football empire, from youth tournaments to AFCON 2025 on home soil. Before Qatar 2022, Morocco were respected, but not dominant in Africa men's football. Their honours cabinet looked like this. In AFCON, they were champions once in 1976 in Ethiopia, with Ahmed Faraz leading a round-robin final group, and they were runners-up in 2004, losing to host Tunisia in the final. World Cup moments were in 1986, when Morocco was the first nation ever to win a World Cup group, finishing ahead of England, Portugal and Poland, before losing narrowly to West Germany. But no quarterfinals, no semi-finals. On the home-based youth and pre-Qatar, they were back-to-back African Nations Championship titles in 2018 and 2020 with domestic league players. Around them, other African nations seemed to own the big World Cup stories. Cameroon 1990 with Roger Mila and the quarterfinal versus England. Senegal 2002 beating holders France, reaching the last 8. And Ghana 2010, a missed last-minute penalty versus Uruguay away from a semi-final. Morocco were in the conversation, but not at the front of it. That would all change in Qatar, but only after a chaotic build-up. Qualifying for Qatar 2022 was the easy part. Morocco cruised through their group and beat DR Congo 5-2 on aggregate in the playoff. The hard part was everything else. Coach Wahid Halilhodzic built a solid pragmatic side, but fell out spectacularly with stars like Hakim Ziyech and Nusayr Mazraoui. 3 months before the World Cup, the federation made a huge call. They sacked Halilhodzic and appointed Walid Regragui, fresh from winning the CAF Champions League with Wydad Casablanca. Regragui promptly brought back Ziyech, Mazraoui, and other exiled talents, stitched them into an already strong core with Bonou, Hakimi, Saiz, Ounahi, Amrabat, and El Nesiri, and had about 10 weeks to make it all work. And there's another layer too. This is one of the most diaspora-heavy squads we've ever seen at a World Cup. Players born or raised in France, Spain, Belgium, the Netherlands, choosing Morocco. Backed in Qatar by huge numbers of Moroccan and wider Arab fans, plus migrant workers from across North Africa and the Middle East, who effectively returned every Morocco match into a home game. This was never just about one country, and that would matter once the results started to come. Morocco landed in Group F with Croatia, the 2018 World Cup runners-up, Belgium, ranked second in the world, and Canada returning to the World Cup for the first time since 1986. On paper, Morocco is underdogs. On grass, they're anything but. Match 1 versus Croatia, November 23rd. Morocco are compact, disciplined, and aggressive in the duels. Croatia have Luka Modric, but Morocco have Amrabat and co, steering everything. It finishes goalless, but it's a statement. They can live with the best. Match 2 was versus Belgium on November 27th, the day the world really pays attention. A first-half Ziyech free kick is ruled out by VAR. In the second half, Sob Abdelhamid Sabiri scores straight from a wide free kick. Then Zakaria Aboukal roofs a second in stoppage time. The stadium sounds almost entirely Moroccan. Belgium, golden generation and all, are shaken. Match 3 versus Canada on December 1st. Hakim Ziyech pounces on a goalkeeping error to lob in from distance, and El Nesiri lashes in a second. An own goal by Agad is the only time Morocco's defense is breached in the entire group stage. Morocco topped the group with 7 points ahead of Croatia and with 1 goal conceded, an own goal. The Atlas Lions are in the knockouts for only the second time ever, and this time the path gets even tougher. Round of 16 versus Spain on December 6th. Spain complete around 1,000 passes. Morocco complete the narrative. Regragui's sides sit in the mid-block, compress space, and funnel Spain into harmless possession. Bono makes big saves when needed. Centre-back Saiz and Agued, then later El Yamik, throw themselves into everything. After a goalless draw, it goes to penalties. Spain miss all three. Achraf Hakimi, born in Madrid, raised at Real Madrid, steps up and wins it with a calm little Panenka. Morocco have their first World Cup knockout win. Spanish TV calls it a humiliation. In Rabat and Casablanca, it's delirium. At this point, in 4 matches, Morocco have still not had a goal scored against them by an opposition player from open play. Next up, Portugal in the quarterfinals on this day in 2022, and history. This is the fork in the road. Win, and Africa breaks into the last 4. Lose, and it's another honourable defeat from a brave side. Morocco start on the front foot but gradually settle into their familiar posture. Tight back 4, heroic ball winning from Amrabat and Unahi. Quick breaks if Saiga Boufal can release El Nesiri. Then that 42nd minute cross from Atia Allah. Then that leap. Then 40 plus minutes of defending. A lead for the entire continent. Portugal throw on Ronaldo, João Felix, Rafael Leao, cross after cross, shot after shot. Bono on the backline deal with all of it. The last corner is cleared. The whistle blows. Morocco are World Cup semi-finalists. Africa finally has a team in the last 4. So does the Arab world. Cameroon 1990, Senegal 2002, and Ghana 2010. All those so close runs now have an epilogue. Then comes the semi-final versus France on December 14th. The injuries catch up. Early on, captain Romain Saiz limps off. Others play through strains. Theo Hernandez scores early. Randal Colomwani adds a second late. It's Morocco's first real defensive wobble, but even then they play bravely. At one point, essentially with 4 forwards on the pitch, still trying to equalize against the reigning champions. And then Morocco's final act of this World Cup, the third place playoff versus Croatia on December 17th. Josko Guardiol heads Croatia in front. Ashraf Dari equalizes almost immediately, but Mislav Orsic curls in a beautiful winner. So Morocco finishes 4th, the best result ever for an African side at the World Cup, improving on previous quarterfinal highs. And their defensive record remains staggering. 7 matches, 5 goals conceded, but only 2 from open play. For a month, they've made the biggest stage look easy. The images from that run go far beyond the pitch. In Morocco, millions on the streets, King Mohammed VI pictured in a replica shirt joining the celebrations, the squad dedicating winners to Africa and the Arab world. Across Africa, you have watch parties from Dakar to Cairo, pundits talking openly about the psychological barrier finally being broken. In Europe and in Gulf, Moroccan and broader North African diaspora celebrating in Paris, Brussels, Amsterdam, Doha, flags draped from balconies, processions of cars and horns deep into the night. Symbolically, it's also underscored a shift we've been seeing for years. Africa is no longer just exporting players to European national teams, it's increasingly able to keep talent and develop its own high-level squads. Morocco's team, with its blend of academy products and European-born players, became a model of that dual belonging identity. And crucially, it raised expectations. If one African side can make a semi-final, why not a final the next time, or a title the time after? After Qatar, Morocco builds its quiet football empire. Since 2022, Morocco have doubled down rather than drifted. At senior level, they qualified strongly for the expanded 2026 World Cup, on the way surpassing Spain and Germany with 16 consecutive victories in international football. They're about to host the AFCON 2025 from December 21st to January 18, with one clear objective: a second continental title, 50 years after 1976. At youth and home-based level, the results are even more eye-catching. U23 AFCON in 2023. Morocco host and win the tournament, beating Egypt in Rabat and qualifying for the Paris 2024 Olympics, where they'll go on to take bronze. U17 AFCON in 2025. Morocco win the continental title, beating Mali on penalties, the first time they've lifted that trophy. The African Nations Championship, already back-to-back champions in 2018 and 2020, and this past August, took the third trophy out of the past 4 possible. And then this year, the U20 World Cup, on home soil. Morocco beat Argentina 2-0 in Rabat to win the tournament, the first Arab nation ever to do so, and only the second African winner after Ghana in 2009. At club level, you have RS Berkane clinch the 2025 CAF Confederation Cup, their third title in that competition, underlining how strong Moroccan clubs have become in continental knockout football. Add it all up, you get something bigger than a single Cinderella run. You get a system, investment in academies and infrastructure, smart use of diaspora talent, repeated hosting of CAF and FIFA tournaments, and an ambition that says, Africa isn't just participating anymore, we're here to win. Morocco's 2022 semi-final is the banner headline, but the fine print, youth titles, club trophies, future hosts, suggests they plan to stick around. It's still true that every World Cup winner so far has come from Europe or South America, but seen from December 2025, an African side has made a semi-final. Another African side, Morocco again, has won a Youth World Cup at home. AFCON 2025 will be staged in World Cup level stadiums just 3 years after that Qatar run. And 9 African teams, including Morocco, already qualified for the 2026 World Cup, with a 10th possible through the playoffs in March. Whether or not Morocco are the ones to finally break the Europe-South America monopoly, Qatar 2022 shifted the imagination. Before, an African semi-finalist was a dream. Now it has the potential to become a precedent. And it all began on this day in 2022 with a quarterfinal header in Doha, and during a month where Dima Maghreb became a chant, not just for Moroccans, but for a huge slice of the football world. That's all for episode 40 of OTD, the day Morocco beat Portugal, climbed into the World Cup's last four, and opened a new chapter for Africa and the Arab world. If you got memories, sources, or stories from Morocco's run in Qatar or their recent youth and club triumphs, then email us at otd@17lawsguide.com, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review so more Atlas Lions obsessives can find us. Tomorrow in episode 41, we'll go back to 2006 in Ireland, the League of Ireland's big restructuring announcement, what changed in practice, and how it reshaped the island's domestic game. Don't miss it.